Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. If you are new here, then please go back and check out my first two videos in the longer video section. In the first one, I introduce myself, who I am, what I do, where I come from, and what is this channel all about. The name of that video is My Story Will Shake You or Make You. And the second video is about how my mother's death made me a fitness guy. So please do go ahead and check out those videos. But I also have a bunch of shorts which are all fitness related videos. So if you're new and you haven't seen those videos, then in a nutshell, my name is Norbert and my brand is called StableYou. I've been in the fitness industry for over 20 years and I'm currently an online coach, a body and mind transformation. I believe in healthy body and winning mindset. So on my channel, within shorts, I'm posting fitness tips to be the very best version of yourself and achieve a truly healthy body. And within the long section videos, I'm posting about all the struggles, all the challenges, all the hardship I went through growing up in Serbia, former Yugoslavia, and how all these negative experiences made me a stronger person, a kinder person, and how I use these all negative experiences to my advantage to build a winning mindset and face everything in life with the same attitude. I can do this. So when you combine the two, healthy body and winning mindset, you get a StableYou, hence my brand. So with that being said, in today's video, I want to talk about how my stepfather physically abused me for about 15 years, and that negative experience made me a kinder person. Please, if you find at any time this video valuable, you can relate to it, then please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to be notified every time I post. I promise to post weekly long videos about these struggles and how I built a winning mindset, and I post daily within shorts fitness tips. So you will gain tons of value if you subscribe to the channel, I promise you that. And if you stick around this one, I can assure you by the end of this video, you will see things differently. You will understand how a negative experience can be used to your advantage instead of giving up, instead of feeling like a victim, instead of just feeling sad and angry. You can change this, you can convert this, and all this experience or hardship you went through can be used and can be put in good use and make you better. So in order to understand how my stepfather came into the picture, I need to go back a little bit in time. I promise to not make this video too long, but you do need to understand how this everything built up, how it came to living with him and how it came to this physical abuse. So what you need to know is that my father left me when my mother was pregnant with me. About my real father, how I found him and all the shocking circumstances around him, it will be a topic of another video. But long story short, my mother was pregnant with me and my father left me at that time. And then as far as I know, as I was told by my mother, the stepfather was trying to get my mother, trying to obviously date her, but my mother didn't really like him, but because he was consistent, he kept coming back. She gave him a chance, and that's how they got together, and that's how everything started. So long story short, a little bit forward, when my mother gave birth to me, then obviously stepfather was there, and then he gave his last name So to this date I have his last name. So in that case, in a sense, as it is understood in Serbia or in most cultures, he became my father, although he was my stepfather. But at this point, obviously, you don't know when you are just born. It's important to know that I already had an older brother, but he was from a different dad, and his real father died by that time. So we started our life, four of us, and as far as I can remember, when I was super small, 5, 6, 7-year-old, it was normal for some reason, sadly, in Serbia or former Yugoslavia, and people I knew confirmed the same, that when you are a bad boy, when you say something wrong, you do get slapped, usually by father, but wasn't any strange from my mother. So unfortunately, most parents, not all of them, but most parents did not know how to raise kids properly. They just wanted to force their will on kids, either my way or highway. You heard this before. I only met one guy who was a very good friend of mine, who told me that he was only slapped once by his father, and that's it. But to be fair, his father was ill, so that could have helped him in a sense. But long story short, obviously my stepfather didn't know how else to force his will on you instead of sitting down with you. And my mother was also screaming and at us a lot, and unfortunately the problem was that when you are a bad boy, then your mother tells your father, and then father, pulls out the belt or whatever and hurts you physically. It's important to know that when my stepfather was beating me, he used tools like a thick belt used in an army for soldiers, very thick and wide belt holding your trousers. Then we're talking about rubber tube cleaning. You used to clean aquariums if you have fish, these decorated fish in your house, and he had. So it's a long tube, rubber, when you suck the water out to change the water, old school, pretty painful. Or when you had to kneel a lot for hours, I'm talking about hours of kneeling on a raw corn that you can't stand on your feet and your knees are shaking and the pain is incredible. You have holes in your knees, literally, to blood. You can see blood coming. Or obviously, imagine a 125, 130 kilos man beating a small boy, right? And then obviously a stick as well, and then all kind of stuff he experienced as a kid, because this is obviously kind of inherited or handed down through generations. So he wasn't treated any differently when he was a kid. But at this point, as a kid, I still don't know this. So now that you know some of the background, let's get to the age where I feel I'm more conscious about things happening and more obviously gained the more understanding that how bad my parents tried to raise me, how bad the approach of stepfather was to teach you a lesson or just to try to make a point or prove a point. So about, let's say, first grade, 7, 8 years old, that's when obviously I started to understand what is happening. No matter what I do, it's always the same answer. Every kid is bad, or every kid is a bit, let's say harsh sometimes, or stubborn, more stubborn. But the answer is never, ever a physical punishment. So if you're a parent, keep that in mind. Never, ever raise your hand on your child. And you will not make a point. You will just make them hate you. And when you need them the most, they will not be there. You don't want to die alone, but it can happen. So obviously, as my stepfather constantly was working, he was also a simple person, not much school, not much knowledge. Maybe 3 grades he went, we're talking about elementary school, and he was working all his life on construction, although as I heard from others, he was a very good, hard-working person. But that mindset, that attitude did not, doesn't translate it in a real day life, when he is a kind person as well, or what the money he earns he's using obviously to buy us food, which wasn't happening. So, you know, as other kids, you ask from your parents for money to, you know, buy chocolate or play video games or whatever. The answer is slapping. To be fair, also, you get upset as a kid, like, come on, never give it, what kind of parent you are, say these kind of things. And then you get slapped again, beaten, or, you know, for any other reasons, literally, you just bad behave, the same thing. The good part of this was, though, that, you know, all this slapping, you also in a bus to stand up for an elder person, give a seat. If not, you get slapped by your parents. Maybe not there, but at home it's explained. So that's a good thing in a sense, because you do want to show respect to elder. Always, to this date, I stand up in a train or on the bus and give my seat to elder, no matter what, or hold the door, open the door to an elder, or help carry a bag or whatever. And this is what I'm saying, that how I used all this to a positive thing as well. And at the end I will explain in more detail all the things I learned from this bad experience. So let's get to the more beating. Let's say I was bad in school. This is when, keep in mind that my stepfather and my mother was constantly fighting. My stepfather did terrible things to my mother. When we were kids, say one example, not bore you much, but he locked us in the room, myself and my brother. I was like, I don't know, 5, 6 years old, and he came home drunk, arguing with a neighbor beat him on the way. My mother came out from the flat, front of the flat, and front of the door, she's checking what is happening. He's coming up now, he got beaten, now he's gonna punish my mother for it, that what she's curious, that he's drunk. What he did from the axe, literally the axe handle, so he took out the axe and kept the handle, and he beat my mother's head, punched so many times that they had to sew her head, I don't know, like 20 times. So you can imagine, put her in a hospital. Obviously they took him to jailed him for a while. I didn't know at this point what is happening, and all these things I found out later, this detail that he went to jail or what he did to my mother, because you know, as a kid, you scream, you hear the pain, you hear the police, but you don't know what's happening. You were locked in a room, you just hear the screaming, that pain and everything, but and then you delete it because you're so small, 5, 6 years old I must have been. It's possible to delete that bad memory, trust me, because it's so painful to remember. So, long story short, obviously, he stopped drinking and my mother took him back, of course. That's what most women do, unfortunately. You know, I met many times a woman who does this, that takes back a bad man, and then the bad man beats the shit out of the kid, and then she doesn't understand that it's mainly her fault, because why the hell did you take back this man? So I blame my mother always for this, because she should not have taken him back, because yes, of course it continued later on. We get to that. So now she took him back. Obviously we are obviously growing up in very poor circumstances, because in Serbia there was not much money. So imagine also in 1999 we were bombarded by NATO, then sleeping in a basement on a mattress, 4 of us. Many times electricity disappeared, they switched it off, the entire city is down, and then you study by using a candle all night, and many days, many months and years like that. You don't have what to eat, so but all these things will be another video. But to get back to my stepfather, he was just an angry person and he didn't know any better. And this is what I learned later on when I got smarter, and you gain more wisdom and more understanding what can happen in another person's mind. So obviously with this beating and everything, each time I also blame myself that I get beaten, and to the point he was beating that I was shaking. Let's say they left the house and I was playing, and unfortunately I broke a TV, old TV, don't imagine some good one, fell off there was a TV unused, fell off the top of the wardrobe. I mean, Hope was the TV on the top of the wardrobe first of all, and fell off, broke, and obviously as they came home he beat the shit out of me, excuse my language, but that's what really happened, to the point of shaking. I was shaking, I almost fainted. That's when my mother started screaming at him, but nothing happened. She didn't call the police, she didn't call anything. But I was literally shaking. Then when I asked for something, as I said, got beaten. So when you see at home this fight constantly between them, argument, there is no money, she's my mother asking him for money, he's not supporting, he did all kind of stuff, he was hiding his money. So front of us, imagine this, he was using, he put oil, like cooking oil, sunflower oil into the plate, and took bread and started to eat like that, just to prove that he doesn't have money, which is not true, because he had a hidden department in the wallet with thousands of euros at that time, which was good money, of course. So it's embarrassing, his mind, and I wasn't a normal person. So long story short, I'm growing up, and obviously now I'm getting to the teenager age, I'm in high school, I mean the same thing continues, just the problem is also we are bullied, because in Serbia, obviously if you're poor, and you get bullied by other kids, called all kind of names, because it's funny for them, which is sad. Giving someone a name, I can give you a name, someone else is funny, but because it's a stupid mind, kids' mind. Someone can name you anything, and that's it. Everyone else names you that way and makes fun of you or whatever. So now we are bullied. Then my stepfathers, they bully after my stepfather as well, my mother as well, because that's how it was. Kids, even the parents of those kids were using the same name. So imagine this kind of disaster mindset. So now he's coming from somewhere, from work, and someone said something on the street across the road, and now he's angry why your friends are calling me this. Which friends? I mean, if they're bullying you, they're bullying me. I mean, and then now I'm getting beaten for that as well. So the answer to everything was beating. So now I'm growing up, I'm older. This is when I get stronger and I started to say enough. So I remember I was about 17 maybe, and what happened is that he wasn't, after that accident and that terrible thing he did to my mother when he beaten her, he stopped drinking. He never drank again, apparently. That was more than 10 years. And then what happened is that we were invited to a wedding, and obviously very important to know that he had diabetes and he was using insulin injections to keep his insulin in check, but he was eating terribly, on 25 kilos of fat, of course, and eating rubbish, so that didn't change. But that time wasn't that much information there, but also he didn't care. Excuse me. And we went to a wedding, and one of his relatives was getting married, and that's when he had a beer or two, and because he was using insulin, they're diabetic, it hit him, and in general probably a weak response to alcohol, so alcohol sensitivity, and he got drunk, started screaming because they didn't play his song, the band, and he took out so much money. Look how much money I have. That's when I realized, this guy has all this money and we are starving. It's embarrassing. We already have so much problems. We're struggling financially, we eating from Red Cross, this will be another topic. I'm dressing up from places where they give you free clothes if they have like a charity place, this is another topic. So I'm bullied, I use broken sneakers in winter, -25. You're that poor. And then now you have all this money, and it's embarrassing anyways. And so of course although he was beaten me so many times, I'm walking him around in fresh air to get him better. Somehow we got home after the wedding. Of course we embarrassed ourselves and them, the relatives. They were also, you imagine someone's most important day of their life, and you do this kind of show, creating this negative environment. So we got home, he regretted, he didn't drink much. He did not drink much, yes, he wasn't aggressive, but what happened, guess what? Next day, or maybe 2 days later, he goes to work, comes back drunk again. So actually, what happened, he didn't even come home. He was like, where is he, 2 a.m. in the morning? He's not coming, we don't know where he is. I look out through the balcony and someone is lying down front of the entrance in blood, and bicycle on the side. Anyway, so of course he kept drinking, and you already have this anger from being beaten so many times to the point of shaking. But you have heart, and you are who you are. You can't change your personality no matter what. I believe you're born with a certain personality, certain mindset, and you just take it from there, either go one direction or the other. And of course I want to help, and as I'm doing today with people, help people become the best version of themselves. I already had it then as well. So of course I went down, somehow tried to bring him up, fed him, he was completely drunk, and put him into bed to make sure there's no drama, no fun. But before this, there was another incident when he got drunk. He came home, he's arguing, and then my mother, as you can imagine, is upset and is telling him, and this is the first thing you can do when someone is drunk, to argue with a drunk person. So he stood up, I stood in front of my mother, and what happened is, obviously he slapped her, and then I punched him, pushed him, and then he came up to me, and obviously then someone called the police, or my mother called the police, I don't remember. But the police came, and then the police in Serbia is pretty strict, and it's not like you see often. When they come, you show respect. These are huge guys, these are trained guys, these are strict guys. You show respect to the police. That is no matter who you are. That's how it is in Serbia. To this date, you're not walking without ID. You certainly, when you see police, you stand straight. And so they came, obviously, and then they saw he's drunk, and then he was saying some rubbish that how he loves us, but then they asked, why are you beating them if you love them? So they took him, whatever, and then every time they took a drunk person, everything, they don't really take it to the police station, they take it to hospital. There is a section where pretty much the madhouse section as well, mental part of the hospital. So they took him there to sleep it off or whatever. But yeah, my mother that time, how to say, again, forgiving and this kind of stuff. As always, as usual, is that forgiving stuff, and that's it. So because once you are sober, they let you out of the and then all this time I was thinking about that. How sad is that someone is just carrying on what they learned as a child, that they can't improve upon, they can't change things, they can't see that this is a different life, they can't adjust, but they can't because it's engraved in them, and that's all they know, Many times people can't overcome things on their own. They need someone to help them do this. That's why I'm making these videos. I want people, whoever watches, I want you to know that you're not alone, and if you can resonate with this, you've been there, you are unfortunately in that, understand you're not alone, and there are ways that you can come out as a winner, come out as a normal person, come out as a better, as a kinder person, 100%. But you do need to be strong and work on this and take action and also analyze that to gain understanding that sometimes people just don't know any better, and that's what you need to accept because if they've been abused, how can they do something else? It's another story, of course, that they shouldn't have a kid if they can't control themselves, but that's another story. Many parents do have a kid and they shouldn't have, right? So let's move forward. That he came back, obviously, and then stopped drinking again. Enough, sorry, blah blah, and that's it. And I remember what happened is, this is what leads me to a very important part, that this is when this shocked me the most, that the beating kept going, because I'm still, afraid of him. He's big, I'm still a kid. It doesn't matter, you're a teenager, you're still a kid, and you're afraid because this guy is crazy. He's beating you with all kinds of things. I literally had lines on my back I had to cover, and the knees were full of holes from the corner, because it's always the same thing. Then I got beaten many times because my brother is a very skinny guy, and then he was slapping him, and I would have to protect my brother, so slap me because I can handle it. Because my brother is everything, so I wanted to protect him, because when you hit a 40-some kilos person with those huge hands you have, working hands, just imagine working in construction for 30-40 years, your hands and everything, and it has a much bigger impact. So I stepped forward and I stepped up and I said, hit me. I'm still 70-some kilos, was that time, and I could handle it, I can take it, but as long as my brother is safe. So I made him laugh. So unbelievable, the mindset. Instead of waking up, what the hell I'm doing? No, didn't, unfortunately. So of course, after all this beating, I also blamed myself many times, and start questioning how bad I am, that I meet other kids and they don't have this issue. They are slapped here and there, but nowhere near the way I was treated, nowhere near of this. I mean, the beating was incredible, and so often and tough and painful and long. And on top of that, the rest of the punishment, you can't go out, or this and that, or not to mention that I was thrown out on the street in winter time like that by my mother. That's another topic, another video I will make about that as well. That's another way of parenting. So to make this video not too long and make it shorter, there was another moment or incident when I asked for money because it was my birthday. I don't know exactly which birthday, but I believe it was my 17th or 18th of birthday, and I asked for money. I said, it's my birthday. And I got very upset that I can't literally imagine. We're talking about little money. I never got much money or anything. We're talking about very small amounts, like literally $2-3, literally. Just something, just a drink or something. It's my birthday, right? Because I grew up with no gifts, no nothing. Sometimes we had some chocolate in the boots before Christmas, but that's it. And never, ever got any gifts and this kind of stuff. So I was hoping that for my birthday I get, just because I'm still not working, I'm still in school obviously, but I was working in school breaks on the side and everything, but not this time. And the answer was no, and then I got upset. I said something, and then he started running after me as I was going out from the flat, and that's when I said, okay, now I will protect. This beating will stop, and will stop today. It's enough. And I turned around and I kicked him in the stomach, and I wanted it to, with a fist, to smash him, but I couldn't because I kicked him stronger in the stomach. So he moved away of me, got blue here. I said, okay, come now, let's do it. And then you're not gonna guess what happened next. My mother is calling the police on me, but I was just protecting myself. My mother called the police on me. So now the police is coming, and by the time the police is coming, my stepfather is removing all his tools, which he's using to beat me, from the rubber tube for cleaning the aquarium, the thick stick, the thick and wide belt used in the army, sold by soldiers, all kind of stuff. His tools were removed. Police comes, both parents saying I'm a bad guy, I did this and that. And of course the police believes the parents, not you. And they said before they left what is happening and everything, and I'm trying but they don't believe me. And he said, we need to come out one more time, we will beat breath out of you. That's what the police said. I could not believe that even the police was against me, so I was completely shocked. Both of my parents against me, my own mother called the police on me. My stepfather tried to beat me again, extremely aggressive. Just imagine the impact he would have had if I just let him. He was running behind me, running towards me to hit me so strong, just because I was upset. He didn't give me a little money for my birthday. But at this point I protected myself, and what happened next, I'm no longer afraid of him. He didn't drink again, and then of course they continue arguing, and now my mother is complaining to me about him, but on the other hand she was the one calling the police on me. And then obviously again, like a nice guy, I talked to him, and then I remember telling him, man, you changed this attitude also, mother, or no police gonna save you. I can assure you that. No police gonna save you. And he was scared of me at this point, but I wasn't using this. I just really protected myself that day. That's all it was. And then it was a school break again, and then he offered me a job somewhere because his friend brought his son as well, and then he wants to bring, and I was working on construction, but it was good because you get some money and everything. But that was horrible stuff as well, because I got in good friendship with this guy who worked there as well through his father, and he asked me about my father, and I said, he's not my father, he's my stepfather. And then he didn't like because he overheard it. So it's very important to add here that as I was growing up, it was clear I started to raise questions that there is no way this is my real father, and there is no way my real father can beat me this much, this strong, this hard. And I was questioning my mother and everything, and what happened is that one day one guy came by car, and I was in front of the entrance, and stopped by car and gave me money. Give this to your mother. I have no idea who this guy is, and I'm like, okay, but I never seen that much money. He gave me, I don't know now, imagine like maybe, I don't know, 50 euros, 100 euros. That time was insanely good money. And of course what I did, I called all my friends, let's go to shop, let's spend all this money on sweets and all kind of stuff. So I spent all of it. And then, like nothing happened. I go home full, finally. It's like, like all these years of hoping for gifts and sweets, and then all this stress, and none of this mattered that time. None of those things mattered. Just that I can enjoy the good food and everything, live a normal life. And I had so many friends suddenly because I had the money with me. Next day, none of them said hello. Unbelievable. None of them. But anyways, my mother went to the shop, wanted to buy some little thing for me, and then she had a good relationship with the shop assistant who said, don't need your son bought half of the shop. And she was like, what? That was the red flag for what is happening. And my mother came home, she thought I stole or whatever, something, and I obviously didn't. She beat me. This is the first time she really beat me. Obviously you're gonna hurt your mother, so beat me in a sense of slapping and this kind of stuff. And I said, no, this guy gave it to me, and then to the point that she said to me finally that that's my father, a real father. Unbelievable. Yes, that was my real father. Which is funny because I only saw that guy actually one more time when I was very small, because later on I remembered. But my mother introduced him like a former colleague, or like a colleague at that time, former, but before they used to work together, and I believed, why not? I believed her. So it turned out as my real father, and I'm like, what? Imagine another shock. So that's my father. I know nothing else. She doesn't want to share anything. And this raised million questions. I will make a separate video about this because the story is incredible. How I found him and all the shocking facts about him and what happened. It's pretty good story. And long story short, so this is when I knew my real father exists, and the father I have, what I think I had, is my stepfather. So this is when, of course, I used against him. You are my stepfather, not my real father. He was aggressive, he was angry, and also when I shared at construction work, when I talked to that guy, the son of his friend, I said he's my stepfather, not real father. Then my stepfather overheard this and I got upset, and I said, why are you upset? That's the truth. You're not my father, you're my stepfather. And all the beating and everything. You should be happy I even called you stepfather. Long story short, to move forward, my mother and him got into very bad relationship, and then they got to court and my mother won the flat. They earned this flat together at the beginning, but because my mother had 2 kids, the court chose obviously mother with us, and he had to move out within 30 days, I believe. He then moved out. He had some small house quite far away, 5-6 miles away, and but that's when my mother felt that she's lonely, she's alone. Then she was crying at nights. My mother was a very confused woman. She never knew what she really wants. So then she started crying about him, or and then like she misses him, etc. So I'm like, again, being a good person, I went to check out this, went to visit him to convince him to come back and try again with my mom. At this point I'm not afraid of him anymore because I'm obviously much stronger, and at this point he's not scary to me anymore. But he also changed that attitude. But most kids wouldn't even talk to father like this, or stepfather, I believe. But I put aside my pride just to see my mother happy. And then obviously, as you can guess it, he came back. He didn't drink, but it didn't last for a week, this story, because they got into argument and he said something that he's gonna take a knife to her neck, and then I heard this, she told me, and I again said the same, and then I said, don't do this and don't say this, I don't wanna hurt you and this kind of stuff. Then he came back, and then now he's living, I started working in the meantime. Now obviously I'm older, but let's say all this when he came back lasted maybe not a week, maybe up to 3 weeks, and then I'm working and he's not giving money at all. He gave some very little money in a household, and I'm pretty much feeding him now as well, and I said no, then I'm gonna give the same as him. So then he got upset and he said, you know what, this was a bad idea, I move out. And that was the best decision he can make, and he moved out, moved back. I never went to see him. I seen him only after my mother died, when I was 21 years old. I made a video about this. My previous video is about her death and how I became a fitness guy because of that, using all that, one of the biggest negative experiences in my life to my advantage. That's when I saw my stepfather. He came, but obviously universe looked after me, because when all this happened, when my mother died, I was a soldier, I was a civil soldier, but also worked a little bit on the side, but I explain this in the previous video. But I still somehow managed to figure out all what is needed when it comes to funeral, which is, as you can imagine, a lot of things to do, a lot of things to look after, pay debts, etc. But the stepfather didn't know that, so he came to see, and is the flat protected because she has some, your mother has relatives, they might want a piece of it. No, I said, don't worry about anything, I took care of everything. He came, he gave his phone number to me, but I was nice to him. I made him a coffee, we sat down, I asked him how he is, how he's doing. We had a nice conversation, a grown-up conversation. I put aside everything what happened to be a better person than him. And once he left, unfortunately, I won't lie, I deleted his number because I knew he's just not the person I want to be surrounded by. He's not bringing any value into my life, only bad memories and pain. And I want to move on. I don't want to live in pain. I'm not a kid anymore. So obviously, as I've been moving around, traveling the world since then, this will be another topic where I explain all the places I lived and worked and how I got out from Serbia, changed my life. But long story short, he died a couple of years back, and apparently some of his relatives knew one of my friends who contacted me that your father, stepfather, is dying and wants to see me. Left me some money. Now I didn't have I felt sorry that he's dying, but there's no way I will go. I felt that way that time. There's no money I can go to see him, because wouldn't be honest, it wouldn't be who I am. He caused me so much pain that to this date, sometimes I have nightmares of all that hurting, all that, aggressivity, behavior, screaming, calling me all kind of names. He called me an animal, put me to eat on the floor, because he was, that was done to him. So it's crazy. But if you made it this far in this video, the moral of this story is that although I did go through all this physical abuse and pain and trauma, I used this to become a kinder person by analyzing what is really happening, by analyzing what could have been done to him, by understanding that he didn't know any better, by understanding that I want to be a better person, I want to be a different person. Otherwise, I never ever get rid of him. And he will ruin my life like that. I don't want to waste my life. I want to give to people. I want to become better. And how can I do that? That every time when I had struggles in my life, I remember, oh, I had worse than this. I remember that hurting, that pain. Oh, I understand that what was happening that time. I need to prove myself to myself and to others that I'm more than that. So let me do something. Let me, instead of what he was doing, taking from me, taking my energy and just giving me bad things, let me change this and give to people good things, change their lives, help them become a healthier person, a smarter, a stronger, a better person. That's why I got into helping people, and because I understand you need to be strong to protect yourself, and also a healthy body to live a long life, and also you need to have a strong mindset, because things happen in life, but you are the one who needs to work on your mindset and adapt and analyze, and so you can overcome things and use to your advantage the negative thing. And I can assure you that him being so bad to me, it just made me a nicer person. I won't lie, it took me many years to forgive him. And to this day sometimes I get angry in a moment when I remember something, but then I always remind myself that I forgive you. And I say again, I forgive you, my stepfather, and rest in peace. And whatever happened, you didn't know any better. But now time have passed, and I forgive you. I do forgive him, and I don't want the past to be a way of my present and future. And this is why many people I meet, they live in the past. If you live in the past, you die in the present and you have no future. Alright guys, I hope this story brought you value. If resonated with you, then please give me a like and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to get notified every time I post. I promise to post weekly longer videos about how hardships made me a better person, stronger person, and I used to my advantage. And in a short section I'm posting fitness tips to help you become the very best version of yourself and build a healthy body. I hope this video was useful and you got the point. and you understand that negative things can happen, will happen, but it's up to you to take action and how you react to them and how you use these things to your advantage to build up your life and to have a better life, and not let this negative experience make you a victim, not let this negative experience make you give up. Thank you guys for watching, much appreciated. In the next video I'm gonna talk about how I found out who my real father is and all the shocking surroundings around that, and then I can promise you it's gonna be a good one. Much appreciated for watching and make it this far, and I hope to see you in the next video. Have a nice day.